Good morning. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to have a look at the pictures on the board, and I would like to pause the video and see if you can work out how you think these different pictures could be linked together. Right, I'm going to go through the answers to, well, the reasoning behind why I put them here. So first of all, over here, here you've got a crown. So this was Queen Victoria's crown, and the diamond in the crown is called the Kohinoor diamond. And this diamond's 5,000 years old and originated in India, and was actually a gift from the Punjab region of India to Britain, okay, when we took over India. So that's then linked to here. Now this is Mumbai. This is the port of Mumbai when India was owned by the British, when the British had colonised India and had control there. And you should be able to see it's a port, because in the background you should be able to see some boats, and here you've got some different carriages and transport to carry goods to and from the port. So you've got this, which was a gift from India to Britain. Here you've got the port of Mumbai, and then you've got this trading here. Now this is a picture of the Suez Canal, and the Suez Canal links Britain and India by a canal was built between Africa and the Middle East, which meant it was much easier and quicker to transport goods to and from. So this was all done during colonial times. Then if we have a look at this, the cup of tea. So the cup of tea is one of the main products. We exported a lot of tea from India to Britain via the Suez Canal from the port of Mumbai. And then you've got this here, you've got a train and a railway, and you've got cricket. So these are some of the legacies of colonialism from when Britain controlled India. Some people might argue that one of the benefits of colonialism for India was the British built lots of railways across India. This was to import and export goods such as tea, and cotton was also a major export from India. And then finally, you've got cricket here. Well, this is cultural. So one of the sort of legacy effects of the British ruling India was that Indians have adopted British sports such as cricket and have become remarkably good at it. So all of these are linked together under one heading, which is the colonial empire, and they show how Britain and India linked together. So today's lesson is going to be all about Mumbai, and we're going to look at the population change in Mumbai. So you're going to know how the population of Mumbai is changing and why the population of Mumbai is changing. So the starter activities here, so I would like to pause the video and just see if you can answer either of these questions. So the first one says, why do you think people are moving to Mumbai? And the second one says, where do you think they're coming from? So I'd like you to just have a guess at that. You can use the pictures on there to help you, okay, but see if you can come up with the answers. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look and see what you can remember. So I've got a little quiz here. So what I'd like you to do is you can write down the numbers 1 to 4, and for each question you're going to write down A, B, C, or A, B, C, or D, depending on how many options there are. So question 1, what is a push factor? Is it A, a factor that attracts you to a place, B, a factor which makes you want to leave a place, or C, another word for migration? Question 2, what is urbanisation? Is it A, people moving from the countryside to the city, B, people moving from the city to the countryside, or C, people moving from one country to another? Question 3, where is Mumbai located? Is it A, in the west of Japan on the coast, B, in the east of India on the coast, C, in the south of India on the coast, or D, in the west of India on the coast? And question 4, why is Mumbai an important city? A, it is an important tourist destination which has millions of visitors each year, B, it is the capital city, C, it is the financial capital and has an important port, or D, it is the richest city in India and most people who live there are very wealthy. Okay, let's go through the answers. You can mark your own, see how many you've got correct. So question 1, what is a push factor? So the correct answer should have been B. It is a factor which makes you want to leave a place. It's a negative thing that pushes you away from a place. Question 2, what is urbanisation? So the answer should have been people moving from the countryside to the city. So urban is a city area, so urbanisation is the growth of the city as people move there. Question 3, where is Mumbai located? So the answer should have been in the west of India on the coast, and if you remember from last lesson, that was the perfect spot to trade with Britain through the Suez Canal. And question 4, why is Mumbai an important city? And the answer should have been, it is the financial capital and has an important port. So let's have a look and see now how the population has changed in Mumbai in India. So this graph is showing the total population in the city of Mumbai and how it's changed over time. So if we look at the axes, the graph is going from 1971 to 2011. Now, this is divided into two, that's why it's got two different pictures. These are the poorest of people, the people who live in slums. So this is showing the total number of those people. And then these are the more affluent people living in the city of Mumbai. So this is showing the growth in those people. So you can see both of these numbers of people have grown. So you've got richer people moving to Mumbai and poorer people moving to Mumbai. What I want you to do is I would like you to describe how the population of Mumbai has changed between 1971 and 2011. So I've put a starter here to get you going, and what I'd like you to do is copy that and then finish it off. If you need help, I'm going to talk you through it now. If you can do it by yourself, you can go ahead. So when you describe a graph, you need to include data and you need to include the shape of the graph. So if we look at the shape here, what you should be able to see is it's increasing. So the word increasing should be here. So you could start off with in 1971, the population of Mumbai increased until 2011. That would give you 1 mark, but it wouldn't give you the rest because you haven't got any data. So the ideal answer, let's go to 1971 and see how many people were there. So this is 5 million, so we've got 6 million, 7 million, 8 million. So you've got 8 million people in Mumbai in 1971, so that's how you should be starting off. In 1971, the population of Mumbai was 8 million people. It then increased to, let's have a little look, see how many it was in 2011. Let's just draw a line across here. So we should have 21 million. So that's what you should have written. In 1971, 8 million increased to 21 million in 2011. Right, let's see the different types of migration you've got here. So what this graph shows you, this is the total increase in population. So what you should be able to see from here is that there's more people moving to Mumbai in 2001 to 2011 than there were previously. So it's accelerating. The rate of people moving to the city has grown. Now this divides it into natural increase and net migration. So natural increase is slightly lower. What that means is there are more children being born, there are more babies being born than there are people dying. So therefore, there is a natural increase in people. However, over here, this is the key one because this is greater. So you've got net migration. So here you've got a huge number of people that are migrating to Mumbai. So let's find out why. So what I'd like you to do is this. It says, why do you think migrants are coming to Mumbai? So I'd like you to watch this video clip here, and I'd like you to pause this video, and I'd like you to note down some of the things that you see in this video about why people are moving to Mumbai. Okay, so after you've watched that video, what you should have seen in the video is you should have seen lots of different people that have moved to Mumbai talking about the reasons they moved there, and the main one for most of those people is jobs and higher pay. So now what we need to find out is why people are moving from the countryside. Okay, so what are the push factors? What are pushing people out of the countryside in the area to Mumbai? So we're going to read through the information sheet together as a class. So if you put the information sheet in front of you, and we'll read it together. So at the very beginning of the information sheet, there's a little data table here, which gives you some information about the Maharashtra state, which is the area that Mumbai is in, compared to the city of Mumbai. So what you can generally see is that the quality of life, the data is slightly more optimistic, is better in Mumbai than it is in Maharashtra state. But we'll look at the data in more detail later. So let's read this through. It says 38% of migrants to Mumbai come from Maharashtra state. The majority of other migrants are from villages across India. Maharashtra state is more rural than Mumbai, and half of the population works in farming. The main crops grown include cotton, sugarcane, turmeric, mangoes, bananas, grapes and oranges. Farming has undergone massive changes in India in recent decades. Increased use of machinery has forced people out of work, and changes to farming have forced people with small farms to sell up to larger landowners. Small-scale farmers are vulnerable to bad harvests and poor weather as they are totally dependent on their crops. Droughts are becoming more common, so farmers are often forced to migrate as they cannot survive. In Mumbai, there are job opportunities in service industries and the manufacturing industries, which pay higher wages. There are also more schools, healthcare facilities and entertainment in Mumbai than other parts of the Maharashtra state. So this tells you some of the push factors, the droughts, the lack of crops. It's so difficult to grow things now. There's a lot of soil erosion that are pushing the farmers out of the rural areas. And then those pull factors, more job opportunities, more entertainment, schools, healthcare, all those opportunities in Mumbai. And the last section is an example. So it says here, this is Jayraj. He owns 2 acres of land in Bid in Maharashtra district, and he grows cotton on the land. Jayraj has 4 children and a wife to support, and he is struggling to grow the cotton to sell. In 2015, there was a drought and Jayraj lost all of his crops as there was not enough rain to keep them alive. Jayraj has a really hard life and his children are not getting an education because there is no school in the local area. What should he do? So Jayraj is in a desperate state. Realistically, there's not much that he can do. Okay, he hasn't got any money, there is no water, and without any water his crops won't grow. So he's really in the position where all he can possibly do is migrate to move for a better life. So what I'd like you to do in a minute is watch this video here. So this video is about 20 minutes long, and it will show you what life is like for some of these farmers in rural parts of India. And I'd like you to note down while you watch it what some of the issues are, some of the push factors that are making those farmers want to move. When you've finished that, you're going to answer these questions in full sentences. So I'm just going to go through the questions with you, and then you can have a go at writing your answers to them. So it says, what do the demographics in the table tell you about each of the 2 areas? So I've started you off here. What you're going to do is you're going to be having a look at this data here, and I'd like you to write a comparison. So in other words, to compare the 2 areas and say what this data tells you about each of those areas. Question 2 says, where do the migrants in Mumbai come from? Question 3, which crops are grown across Maharashtra state? Question 4, what are the push factors leading to people moving to Mumbai? Can you explain them? What are the pull factors attracting people to Mumbai? And then there's an extension activity that you can have a go at afterwards. So all of these questions should be done in full sentences. When you've completed them, then you can have a look at the video here and you can check your answers. In general, these answers are quite good ones, but I've just checked this first one. I think could have been done in a little bit more detail. Ideally, I'd prefer you compared all of the data in the table rather than just a couple of bits of the data in the table. But the other answers are good ones here, so you can have a look at that to check your answers. And then if you get time, you can have a go at the extension task. And the extension task was to have a go at creating a cartoon on plain paper to show what's happening. So in other words, to show the push factors and the pull factors. I'll show you an example. I've got 2 little examples here. So this is one of them. This is sort of showing urbanisation, so you can sort of see it says megatropolis, in other words a city. It was 50 kilometres away, 30 kilometres, now it's 10 kilometres away because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's getting closer. And this is another one. So this cartoon here is showing, this is the city, and these are all the people moving to the city, and these are all the pull factors, and then outside you've got these push factors. So you could have a cartoon, you could have people in it, you could have little speech bubbles, do it how you'd like to do it. See if you can draw a cartoon to summarise those push and pull factors in Mumbai.